I knew I'd be coming to speak here at the Sandler Summit, I decided that I would open with the third day and about this whole concept of professionalism, because I did some research on Sandler, and I heard that you all are the pros. You are the best of the best when it comes to selling. Is that correct? Or did they lie to me? Okay. Y'all didn't sound too enthusiastic about that. But the reason why I open with that is because what the third day is all about is about that concept of professionalism. And the dictionary definition of professional says a person who does something as their main paid occupation. Now, how and why would anybody pay you consistently to do anything? It's because they know what they're going to get from you. They know that you're going to show up even when you don't feel like showing up. That's the third day. Now, when I talk about the third day, people hear that and they say, all right, Jerry, that's great. That's very motivating. It's inspiring. You're reminding me of some things that I needed to know, and that's all good. But there are two caveats that I had to tell you about the third day. I got to make sure I tell you everything. Okay, so here they are. Number one, 6 months from now, 6 weeks from now, a year from now, you're going to have one of those days at work. Does anyone know what I mean when I say one of those days? It's days when you get to the office, or if you work from home, you open up the laptop, and you just know, I'm not feeling it today. You didn't get a lot of sleep the night before. You got woken up in the middle of the night. You got some problems going on with your clients, with vendors, with customers, with the company, just all kinds of stuff going on, and you would rather be anywhere but work that day. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Okay. That's the third day. When you have that day, 6 weeks, 6 months, a year from now, here's what you're going to do. You're going to remember that, hey, you know what? This is that third day thing that Dre was talking about at that conference in Orlando a few months ago. And you're going to remember that it's all about, the third day is about the day when it's not fun anymore, the newness is worn off, you had to show up, you had to be a professional, something he said about Mike Tyson, and you are going to have this great day. You're going to have one of your best days at work that day. You're going to give one of your best efforts on the day that you least felt like doing it. That's going to happen. Now, here's the question. At the end of that day, what happens? Feel good? You made it. What else? Okay, so 2 of you answered. The rest of you got it right. Nothing happens. There's no trophy. There's no reward. There's no round of applause. There's no handshake. There's no appreciation. There's no recognition. Nothing. I mean, you didn't feel like being at work. You reminded yourself that you're a professional. You showed up and gave the effort of a professional. Thank you. See you tomorrow when we need you to do it again. And the day after that, and the day after that, for as long as you want to work here. So the first caveat here is there is no bonus, reward, recognition, celebration for you showing up and giving your best effort on the third day. Now, you might be expecting there's some good news to that caveat. There is not. Here's the second one. Everybody got the first one, right? Now, here's the second one. On that same day, when you didn't feel like showing up and giving your best effort, one of your colleagues, maybe someone you work with, maybe someone on the other side of the country, they are having that same third day. They don't feel like being at work either. But instead of doing what you did, reminding themselves that they're a professional, showing up and giving their best effort, they're going to do the opposite. They're going to do what we call in the sports world, I don't know what you all call it in your industry, we call it mailing it in, where you're there, but you're not really there. Has any of you ever worked with someone and they were at work in body, but they weren't really there in spirit? All right, don't point to them. Okay. So that person's not going to show up. They're not going to give any effort. They're going to kind of half-ass it. They're good enough that they can look like they're working, but they're not really working. Now, here's the question. What happens to that person at the end of that day when they did not give any effort whatsoever? Okay, I gave it away already in the first one. Not a damn thing happens to them. Nothing happens. They don't get fired. They don't get docked a day's pay. They don't lose any customers. They don't lose any business. They don't get a stern warning from management. Nothing happens. Nothing. So these two caveats. Number one, when you show up and give your best effort on the third day, you get nothing. And number two, if you don't show up on the third day and do absolutely nothing, nothing happens to you. So you might be thinking to yourself right now, okay, Mr. Speaker, why are we even talking about this? You get nothing if you show up. You get nothing if you don't show up. Let me tell you why. And if you remember one thing about the third day, remember this. Your relationship to the third day will not be obvious until it is too obvious. Meaning, every time that you show up or don't show up on the third day, there's a little bit of outcome that gets produced, but it won't be obvious to you or anyone else until they've accumulated. Does that all make sense? Everybody follow me?
Thank you for watching this highlight video from the Sandler Summit. You can join us for the next Sandler Summit in 2024, March 19th and 20th at the Orlando World Center Marriott. Register now at sandler.com/summit.